Hey, it's Ohio Jimbo. I'm going to go back to the basic fundamentals here. I want to show you how to play. We're going to start with just 3 chords. Now, those 3 chords we can move in any direction we want, but I'm going to start with 3 simple chords. And the most important chord that I can kind of start with is that G. And I'm going to show you how to play that G in so many different ways and some variables to the G that will help expand how you play guitar and how you can maybe start sounding like a real pro when you're just strumming a couple of chords. And each individual chord has its own characteristics. And I'll go back to the beginning of what these strings mean, what each one of them does, and why there's all these frets. So if you're ready, let's get into this one. Hey, it's Ohio Jimbo, and we are here for a lesson today. This is not a performance of any way, shape, or form. This is simply a lesson. It's really going to teach you about the basics of an acoustic guitar. Works the same on an electric guitar, but the acoustic guitar is a lot easier to play out around a campfire or something. So what I want to show you, there's going to be a couple of chords we'll talk about. But before you get into chords, I want to try to fly through this. I don't want to get too deep into the woods on this, but I kind of want to show you something that helps my brain think about where a note is on this guitar. Because if you look at a guitar, the strings on the guitar, and I'll show you a close-up of this, E, A, B, G, D, E. So, E, A, D, G, B, E. Did I say that right? E, E, A, D, G, B, E. You go, why? Why wouldn't it just be A, B, C, D, E, F, G? Here's why. And I'm not into music theory, but understand that there's a bunch of things called triads. And people have told me they use triads. And I always thought it was triangles because I would see like a G chord as a triangle. Boom, 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 right? Or a C chord as a triangle. A D chord is a triangle. Funny thing is, almost every one of those chords is using 3 of my fingers. Occasionally, I'll get into a 7th, that requires an extra finger, but for the most part, every one of these chords is using 3 fingers. Now, the interesting thing about this is because where your fingers land on these strings and in these frets makes these weird letter strings, E, A, D, G, B, E, create a harmonious chord. Now, if it was A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and you tried to put your fingers in certain places, it just wouldn't work. You'd have to be all over the neck to do that. So, this is what makes it so simple. If you look at the neck of the guitar, first of all, we've got an E. That is that heavy bass string. It's called the 6th string. Some people say, oh, it looks like the 1st string because it's closest to me. Call it what you will, but most people call it the 6th string, that low E. So, if you were to hit that 1st fret, that is an F. Hang on, because this is where it gets a little goofy. Skip a fret. See? E, F, G. That's a G. This is on that top string, okay? The E string, the number 6 string. That's a G. So E, F, G. If we skip 2 frets, what we got? A, right? Skip 2 frets, what do we got? B. Here's where it gets goofy. You don't skip 2 frets after the B. Notice the E and the F were 1 fret away from each other and everything else has been 2. We get to the B and it's 1, C, and then we go to D. And then it's all the way up to E, okay? See, it's the same note, E, E, right? Now, this is where I make the connection. Go to a piano keyboard, any piano keyboard, whether it's piano or one you play around with or you carry around with you, any keyboard. Look at the black keys. There's 3 and then 2 and then 3 and then 2, okay? In between those sets of black keys, there's 2 white keys right against each other. Guess what they are? Oh, this is cool. They're E and F and they're B and C. So when you look at a keyboard, a piano, any keyboard, where there's 2 keys are together that are white, doesn't have a black in between them, it's E, F, and it's B, C. Now, I remember it as E, F Hutton and B, C Rich. B, C Rich, a great guitar, E, F Hutton, a good company. So, but the E, F is here first, E, F, and then the B, C comes clear up here. So B, C, B, C. So you got E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E. Now, if I went one more, F. It'll blow your mind when you start looking because it unlocks the fret. The same thing happens on the next string down. So actually, if you go to the 5th string, there's right there's 6. There's the 5th string. So I told you E, A. So A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Each one of these notes follows the same pattern. It is so bizarre because the keyboard really represents what's on the guitar and the guitar represents what's on the keyboard. Let that kind of sink in for music theory. Now, let's get back to the triangles because I do want to show you how these triangles, they break up and they form different shapes. And again, I never took lessons. I don't have any music theory. I just see this as shapes. So we're going to talk about the G. After all that craziness of the neck, you look at the G. I'm strumming it. This is another cool thing. Where are my fingers, especially these two? They're both E, F, G. So they're on the G note. That's what I'm forcing because I'm on the 3rd fret, E, F, G. And I'm right here at the 3rd fret, and this finger down here is the same thing because it's another E. These are both the same, just an octave difference. So I'm creating a G by moving my fingers to the G on the string. That's kind of brilliant. And then you go to this extra note, E, A, B, B, and G are harmonious with the other ones. Now, my guitar might not be perfectly in tune, but I will tell you, it's the sense of all this. So we're looking at a G. This is still in a G. So if I take the G and I'm playing the G, let's not worry about strumming pattern today. Let's just talk about strumming it. So if you're strumming, you got a G. Now I can do something called a full G. I call it a full G. It's where I bring my ring finger up one string to the 2nd, and I bring my pinky finger in down on that E, which makes it a G, and it makes it a full. Listen to the difference. So that's a full G. So that's one trick to do with the G. Go from the G to a full G. Now here's another part. Let's go back to the normal G as you would hold it. So if you want to kind of get a little, and I've done this in a couple different songs, Chuck Berry's Johnny B. Good, Squeeze Box, you can take that index finger and go to the next string down. So you pick up the index finger on the 5th string, 2nd fret. This gets confusing, right? Right? And then go to the 2nd fret on the 4th string. And then go back and forth. Kind of sounds like an old cowboy western, doesn't it? But if you speed it up and change the cadence, you got Squeeze Box. That's all in a G. And are you ready? We're going to branch off a little bit further in a G. And on this one, where I normally put my index finger 2nd fret, 5th string, and this one here and this one here, I'm going to switch those over. So I'm rotating all my fingers, and all the fingers are here. Still G, still G. Now I've got a free finger here. Okay, my index finger is doing nothing, just hanging out there partying. So I'm going to drop it down here. That's a G7. So that kind of gets you to the next chord if you're playing a chord progression. So if we got a G going, now let's go to a full G. And put a little bit more emphasis on those high strings. Back to a G. And then we're going to go down to the G7. See that? That is how cool this is. One more step. And I only hear this, you rarely hear this kind of use of the G, but listen to this. I'm leaving my fingers in that weird position, index free, roaming wildly, but we're going to need him. Because here's what happens when you change that. If you can do it this way too. I like to try to keep that open so I can kind of get that whole thing going. So if I'm that just walks that G down a little bit. So you can play with a couple of those. You'll hit a sour note every once in a while, and here's the answer to that. Don't do that. So when you hear you're playing a G, and you go, oh, I want to add this one in there. Oh, that doesn't sound good at all. So don't do that, right? Go back to where you should be. Everything's going to be fine. So now you got the G, you got the full, back to G, and then let's do a shuffle. Let's do a G7. That just begs you to go into the next chord. And the next chord we're going to do, it will be C. But that's in the next lesson, because I got a lot of features to show you in the C. That is the G. That explains the neck, gets you in and out of the G. Practice that. We'll have the variables here at the end of the video, and you can actually see how you can use that G in your favor. Practice it, practice the shuffles, get that muscle memory going. Everything else will fall right into play. So my next video, this is going to be a series because I want you to binge watch this. My next video is going to be the G, add the C. So we're going to go G to C. But until that video comes around, this is Ohio Jimbo saying, if I don't see you out there strumming the G chord, I'll see you in here. That's the G.